Hey everyone, welcome back. Today's Wednesday. Gosh, middle of the week already. So what happened today? Well, Bitcoin was up a little bit. Miners were kind of flat, more or less, down a little bit even, I guess you could say. Not much to talk about other than we have a story from CORZ. They got a new data center that they bought in Alabama. We'll talk about that. Not a lot of details there, but we'll talk about it nonetheless. And then we have just the miners as far as institutions. How have the institutions been buying into them in the last month, basically? So the data that I'm going to show you guys is probably through the beginning of February. There's been some updates on it as well here recently. We'll look at that after we go through the data that I have right now on the miners. Okay, but as always, you guys know the drill here. Not financial advice, for entertainment only. Please do your own research. Full disclosure below that, as always. And if you would be so kind, hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out tremendously. And let's take a look at what happened here today with Bitcoin. So Bitcoin today was up on the day, which was nice. It's up again in the new hours as well. It was up 1.07%. It closed at 96,632.03. Miners and MicroStrategy were down for most of the day, and I think that's mainly because Bitcoin was trading downwards. If you look at the 1 hour chart here, it was going down a little bit, and then it finally started coming back up here in the last, I would say, 7-8 hours or so. We started to go back up on it. So that's kind of why things have ended up the way they did with the miners here today. But we're still trading sideways on Bitcoin. We're back up to the same levels as we were before about a week and a half ago. But we're still right around 96,500, somewhere around there. Bitcoin's up a little bit right now on the new day for Thursday. We're up 0.47% right now. And we'll see where this takes us. I mean, we're getting closer and closer to that edge of the wedge here. We'll see if we can get out of this funk that we're kind of in Bitcoin here. Maybe once we get closer to this line here, we'll see. We'll see if we can break above this and go back up higher. But MicroStrategy here today was down 4.58%. So it was down a little bit yesterday. It's down today again. Bitfarms was up just a little bit, 0.71%. It was up higher, then it came back down a little bit. BitDeer was down 0.73%. It's continuing its kind of fall here. We'll see if it can maintain this line. I mean, it's bouncing off of the 100 simple day moving average right now, or at least it bounced off of it today. We'll see if that is going to act as support for it. Cypher was up a little bit today, 2.03%. It was up higher, then came down a little bit. Cleanspark was down 1.88%. CORZ was down almost 3% here on the day. Hive was down 2.14%. HUT was down 0.3%, just a little bit. IREN was up 0.23%, was up higher, and then it came back down. Mara was down 1.68%. Riot was flat on the day at 0%, and then Wolf was up 0.21% on it. It did seem like it was battling with the 200 simple day moving average here today. Got to that point and it came back down. Some of the smaller miners were mixed more or less. Some were up, some were down. ETFs were down for the day as well. And yeah, it just wasn't a good day for the miners, even though Bitcoin's up now. So we'll see how tomorrow is for the miners. Especially Bitcoin maintains this kind of, we're at 97,000 right now. So if it stays up 97, goes to like 98 or something like that, we might see the miners go up a little bit here tomorrow. But we'll see on that. All right, Bitcoin here for the month of February here is down 5.64%. We have roughly now 9 days to go left in the month of February. So not a lot of days left to go green, but hopefully we can still do that here coming up. One story that we do have here on Bitcoin, I think Trump reiterated today in a conference that he was at that he still wants to make the United States the Bitcoin capital or the crypto capital of the world. So that's still a bullish sign for us there. And the only story we got on the miners is CORZ Scientific. They announced expansions into Auburn, Alabama, with new high-performance computing facility. Not a lot of details here as far as price tag and all that stuff. They did put in some amounts as far as what it's going to cost to, I guess, retrofit, build out, whatever they want to do with it there. But CORZ today announced its expansion into Auburn, Alabama, with a new high-performance computing facility at 1571 West Sanford Avenue. Auburn represents an exciting new chapter for CORZ Scientific as we establish our presence in Alabama, said Adam Sullivan, CORZ Scientific CEO. This facility is expected to play a key role in our high-performance computing strategy. So that's definitely interesting there. So they are buying more of these kind of data centers up. The CORZ Scientific Auburn Data Center, housed within the existing AUBIX facility, will launch with a capacity of 16 megawatts and has potential for further expansion. CORZ Scientific is planning to make an initial investment of approximately $135 million in the facility. Didn't say what they're going to do, though. With the total investment in the project expected to exceed $400 million, including substantial capital expenditures from future partners. So it looks like they might have some additional megawatts they can maybe build out there, but they didn't provide that. In the process of becoming the operator of the Sanford Avenue facility, CORZ Scientific has leased the building and is planning to execute an option to purchase it. So maybe that's why they didn't provide a lot of details as far as price tag. I'm guessing if we're going with the average of maybe $8 or $8 million per megawatt, they paid $100 million, something like that for that, maybe somewhere around there. I don't know. Don't know a lot of details on it. They didn't provide it in here. So we will have to wait and see what that actually entails and what kind of customer they can get in there to build that out. But nonetheless, this is still really good news here for them as they go into more of the HPC AI business. And still would like to have some updates on the Bitcoin mining though. Still waiting on them to provide us with, if they bought the block ASIC machines, and are they getting the 15 exahash like they talked about last year? So I still want to see some updates on that because I think that would be good there as well. But that's it. So this is good for core. Next, that's all I got for news. Let's get into the institution side of things here for the miners. And institutions have been going a little crazy here, buying up the miners here, at least some of the miners in the last month. So last time we looked at this was at the beginning of January, which so basically a month out. This data that I have here is basically through like February, I want to say probably February 7th. So it's about a week or almost 2 weeks old now on it. But we will take a look at the latest data that we have also because there's been even more updates on their institutions buying and things like that. All right, so on this we look at on the 1 month and the 6 months time frame on these guys here as far as the changes that we've seen here in the institutions. And the first one we're going to look at is the 6 months ago. So one, we have the stock price percentage change from 6 months ago on these guys here. And then we're also looking at the shares added from 6 months ago on it as well. So we got Core. Core has had the most shares added, 45 million shares by institutions here. It's up only 21%. Cipher is 13 million here. Stock is up nicely, 102% from 6 months ago. Marathon, 7 million shares added here from 6 months ago, 6% change in stock price. IREN is actually down from institutions from 6 months ago by 15.4 million here, and the stock is up actually 93%. Riot is up 6.2 million shares, and the stock is up 68%. HUD is up almost 5 million shares, and the stock price is up 114%. BitDeer here up 18.3 million in shares by institutions added in the last 6 months, and their stock price has done the best, 154% here. Bitfarms, institutions bought 15.9 million. Stock price is down, 27.13%. Cleanspark, institutions bought 15.7 million, and the stock is up only up 14%. And then Hive, 4 million here, bought in the last 6 months, and the stock is actually down 1.79%. Okay, when we look at the month to month here, so how much did it change from the prior month? We can see here that institutions have bought quite a bit of Bitfarms here, it looks like. 17.6 million shares on them, but the stock is down 15%. Marathon, they added another 3.7 million. Marathon's down 19%. Riot got another 4 million added by the institutions of shares, and the stock is down 12%. IREN was only 2.9 million with 11% gain here. Cipher with almost 5 million here, and it's up almost 9.25% there. HUT only had 630,000 shares added by institutions. Stock is down 23. BitDeer had 11.5 million, and the stock is down 27% here in the last month. Hive, 3.5 million, stock is down 12. Cleanspark, 10.7 million, and the stock is down 11.2. And then Core, 1.9, almost 2 million there added in shares, and their stock is down 24%. So even though institutions are buying, the stocks are going down. So who's selling? Is it retail? I think it might be retail that's capitulating here, because we're seeing a lot of the institutions buying in here, not only over the last 6 months, but over last month as well. And there's even more updates here that we're going to take a look at here in a second to show that the increase and the percentage that is owned by some of these guys has even risen even more by institutions. But here's what it looked like at the beginning of the month here. So Marathon is owned 53%, Riot 44%, Cleanspark 47%, CORZ Scientific 72% owned by institutions, Cipher 35%, HUT 8%, 59%, Bitfarms was 27%, IREN 39%, Hive 30%, and BitDeer 22% on it. Going down here, we can see analyst high price targets increase or decrease from 6 months ago. BitDeer had the most increase in the high price target from analysts. Went up $22. So the change was $22 from where it started, followed by HUT 8, $19 additional added to their price or stock price targets. Marathon 18, and then we had, who else was up? CORZ is up 6, Cipher 2, Riot was up 2, Bitfarms only $1 increase. Hive only $2. Cleanspark and IREN were both flat since that time frame. And then the analyst Hive price targets increase or decrease from 1 month ago. Everybody pretty much flat here. Hive just had a $1 increase from the analyst there over the last month. And you can see Marathon has 520 institutions that are in the company, in the stock. Riot 450, Cleanspark 392, Core at 363, Cypher 262, Hut 276, Bitfarms 214, IREN 216, Hive 151, and BitDeer 144. So that's how it all stacks up there. So yeah, I mean, we're seeing definitely institutions buying into it, especially like in surprisingly Bitfarms here. Bitfarms, BitDeer as well. Even Cleanspark got a lot of shares added into the last month. But here's the data that we have as of the last numbers here for them. We'll start with BitDeer here. This is as of, so this is actually the same probably data that we have there as of 131 here. 24% owned by institutions, right? 33.8 million shares, 15 million shares added basically in the last month for them. Bitfarms was at 28 here. This is as of 131 as well. 4.47 million. Bit Digital, we didn't cover that one in the beginning here. Cypher, 33%, or now 69% owned by institutions. 33% increase in the last month. This is as of the end of January here as well. Shares have also increased tremendously for them. Check out Cleanspark here. This is as of 2/14, so that's why I said some of these guys have been updated here recently on this. Now 57.37% owned by institutions, 158 million shares there. You got CORZ and January as well. They're at now 94.25% owned by institutions. 22% gain in the last month here, it looks like. Based on that, that's just crazy. That's that much owned by institutions. Hive, 30.5%. This is as of end of January, looks like as well. Hut, 61, almost 62%. End of January as well, that one's showing. I think that might be off here on some of these days because I've seen definitely increases from where I recorded it just at the beginning of the month here. IREN, 53% ownership by institutions. Mara, now 64%. Riot, 61% as well. And then Wolf here at 52%. So it is crazy, right? The miners are not doing it like we thought they were going to do. They're not going up. They're going down, especially with institutions buying them. And yeah, is it retail that's capitulating, that they're selling out of these things while everybody that's supposedly smart money and big money is buying into these things? I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. The short could be another part of it as well. But still, I mean, when you got so many of these guys buying into it still, and the stocks aren't really doing anything, you know we're being manipulated at that point. One way or another, it's just capitulation by retail, possibly. So could this be a good time to buy? I think so. I'm going to be looking to buy something possibly later on this week as well. I want to deploy some more capital in these guys because I think that they are just undervalued and that there is potential, especially with the shorts, interest and things like that on some of these guys, that it might make sense to add in a little bit more of a position into some of these guys here before they really do take off once Bitcoin starts going back up. So that's kind of my game plan here for the rest of the week. Is I will look to deploy some capital just based on what I'm seeing. Institutions are buying everything else. We'll see. All right, that is it. As always, the spreadsheets here are available to my Patreon members there. Thank you for their continued support. Greatly appreciate them. The link to that is down in the description if you want to join and get access to all my spreadsheets and data and charts and everything else that I have there. That's $8 a month. You might be able to find a couple spots that are still in the $5 and $4 range, and you get the same stuff there. So that is it on my sales pitch. Let's get into the Q&A side of things here. See what you guys have to say on any of this stuff, or if you have any questions. So we'll call it a day. It should be another nice and easy day like yesterday was. Yesterday was pretty easy as well. Yesterday we only did it like for 35, 40 minutes, so that was nice instead of going for an hour, hour and a half. All right, as always, with the questions, if you could preface them with a question mark and or Q, I'm going to work my way up a little bit. See if there's any questions up top, and I'll work my way down as always. So be patient. I will get to your question eventually. So just be mindful of that. Okay, there we go. All right, stupid question. I see that all BTC will have been mined by early 2026. I'd be interested in hearing everyone's opinion on how this affects the thesis for holding miners. Well, not all the Bitcoin, well, the majority of Bitcoin has been mined, yes. I mean, we're down to, what are we down to? I'd have to look. What are we at? 18 million now being mined? 19 million? I can't remember exactly. So yes, the reduction is going to happen here even more when we get into, what is it going to be, 2028, right? When we have the next halving event, Bitcoin's going to get cut down even more from the 125 right now that we're getting per block reward down to it's going to be 1.6 something or 1.5 something at that point. So yes, there's going to be a reduction in it, and it's going to take another basically 120 more years or so before all the Bitcoins have been mined. So we still have a ways to go. And if if Bitcoin continues to go up like it does every single cycle, that's not going to be anything bad for the miners. Because the miners will generate less, but Bitcoin will go up in value to then kind of offset any of those things. So I don't think that's going to be any big thing for them. It's going to hurt when they go in the bear market, yes, but I just don't. It's not going to be the end of the world for them. All right, let's see what else we got here. Trying to find another question. Okay, Northern Wisdom has a question here. Any thoughts on current level of Bitfarms short interest levels trend? Could Riot have economically hedged exposure using derivatives? They could have with them, right? Don't know if they did, but they could have. I mean, they're shorted, but they're not like the most shorted here. We looked at that yesterday on it, and I provided that as well on Twitter today, or on X, sorry. But if we look at it here, based on the data that we have, there's 17.66% being shorted here based on the average floated shares. So that's not too bad, but it is high. Anything close to 20% is high. So we'll have to, I mean, some of these guys are even more shorted and doesn't make any sense to me. But I get it, Bitcoin's going sideways, so yeah, so you can short them, make money on it that way. So they are playing both sides of it. It seems like some of the institutions are, at least. Eventually, I think they will give in and let the miners run a little bit. But when that's going to happen, I do not know. Hopefully sooner than later. I'm sure all of you guys would like to see that happen as well. All right. What do you think of Cleanspark Blackpool selling of stocks? Don't know anything about that, about Blackpool and the selling of stocks. Yeah. Would that be the shorts then on that? I'm not sure. Never really delved into it or delved into it. Let's see. Smash the like button. Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you for that. Okay. Let's see. Minor Digital says, congratulations to IREN. They now have a higher market cap than Cleanspark without a hodl and 10% exahash lower. Yeah. Why is that? HPCI potential, right? That has been the kind of the story that has been driving these stocks up in the last, I would say, 8 months or so. All right. Okay, next question here. Cleanspark is at 9s again, the second week after a great report. Many are blaming it with short sellers. I see the same story with AMC, where the bag holders blaming short sellers all the time. Well, I mean, what can you really blame it on? I mean, the stock, they're generating a heck of a lot of revenue. They're getting to 50 exahash. They're fully funded to get to 50 exahash. So it's kind of like, what else can you really blame it on? It's just the big guys are manipulating the heck out of us. And we're just on here for the ride, I guess. All right. Okay. Let's see here. When is doomsday for you, Seb? Meaning, what day, month will you bail if these miners don't move? Gideon said in his interview with McNally that we can't just believe it's an extended cycle. I mean, we can't really believe it until we actually go through it, right? So I would agree with that statement there. It's one of those things where we won't know until we're through it. So it's one of those things that we're talking about right now because it is a different cycle altogether. And then as far as when is my doomsday, I think if Bitcoin starts going back down to like 60,000, 50,000 at that point, I'm like, okay, we're going back down. This is it. We've reached 109,000. That's the peak and we're done for. So I still don't believe that's the case here. Only because of all the adoption happening, everything else. You guys know, every time I talk about this, it's always about states looking to get Bitcoin on their balance sheet, countries, companies, everything else, you know, all that stuff is happening. So I'm still in the strong position of Bitcoin's going to go up higher. But it's just a matter of when, not if. Not saying he's highly credible at this point, but we can't bank on it being an extended cycle, but February last cycle, Riot 80, Mara 50, Cleanspark 40. Yeah, right. I would agree. I mean, we don't know for a fact until we're actually through it. Nick Lee has a question here. Could it really just be just because miners are not making any money? I mean, after all these years, did any miner really made any money? You would have to probably add it all up. Depending what you look at. If you look at cash-based expenses and things like that, they probably made money. If you include things like share-based compensation, right, depreciation as well, then maybe not. But still, there's times where they do make a lot of money. They do have a lot of these guys have a large hodl position as well, which if Bitcoin goes up, even now it's valued at $1 billion for some of these guys, even $4 billion for others. So it's still a huge amount of cash that they have there at their disposal. Okay. Next question I'm looking for here. All right, Artist1 says Bitfarms won't move till Riot purchases them in 2026 when the takeover agreement is back on. Maybe. Yeah, I mean, you never know. I don't think so, but we never know. Okay. What indicators are you following to determine when the Bitcoin top has been reached? The two main ones I'm following is the stock to flow model and then the power law as well. Those are the two ones that I'm following. I'm also following just the sentiment that I'm seeing around the interwebs, around my own sphere that I have access to, people and things like that. When I start seeing, my neighbor talking about Bitcoin and that he's buying or something like that, okay, maybe we're getting close to the top at that point. So, but that's kind of what I'm seeing right now as far as where things might go. And that's kind of what I'm looking at. All right. Okay, John Kurtz says, what's your advice on recouping losses after being out of miners for several months as prices are substantially lower, giving a much higher share count? What percentage of portfolio would you reinvest? Oh, that's going to be a decision that you have to make, actually. So you've been out of the miners for several months. Yeah, I mean, that depends on how much you lost in the beginning and if you're still in the green or not. Don't know all that details. I would just personally, this is just me, right? So don't follow me because I'm okay if I lose it all. I don't want you guys losing the same amount that I lose. But all of my stuff that I have right now is in the miners. Like my portfolio is probably right now 50%, roughly. It's probably close to that. Probably close to 50% is in the miners. And then the rest is in like Bitcoin, Ethereum, a little bit of Doge that I have, and some other little coins there. But Bitcoin's a big one there. That's a big chunk of my crypto portfolio. And then the other half of it is right now the miners as well. So I'm fully in on these things. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to find another question. Okay. Or at least a comment here. Miners are fine. I will be buying more Cleanspark. Nice. I'm looking to do the same. Let's see here. I will buy some of the Sol ETFs for retirement accounts once it comes out. So Soluna, okay. Okay. Let's see, Bevney, I would agree with you. Well, it's not pooping in bed. It is going sideways right now for Bitcoin. Let's see. Seb, give us a time and date to buy one Bitcoin miner. We need to teach these shorts a lesson. Oh, like if everybody was to go in and buy them, we would need a lot more of us to do that. I don't have the reach like Roaring Kitty did with GameStop and all that. We need hundreds of thousands of people probably to do that, to buy into these miners and, yeah, spank the shorts a little on the rear end there maybe. Okay, yeah. What do you think of Cleanspark Blackpool selling stocks? I don't have any experience with Blackpool. I know I've heard about it before, but I've never really looked into it here. So I don't know if it's legal or not. I have no clue on that. All right. Could you look more into the short interest trends and borrow rates? Just noticed I am being paid 20% annualized lending my Bitfarms shares. Oh, well, that's actually pretty good. Yeah, I don't even know where I would start to look for that kind of information, to be honest with you guys. If you guys know, let me know. Fairfax says he bought more Cleanspark here. Pitch Sharma also added 600 more shares today. Nice. That's kind of what I'm looking to buy into either tomorrow or Friday as well. It's more Cleanspark and IREN. Let's see your question. Cleanspark Bull Rex Finance recommended this week on X that Cleanspark should stop putting out monthly reports to help stock price. Do you feel Cleanspark should stop monthly reporting? No. Why? That's just crazy. Why would he stop? Why would they stop doing that? That is, I mean, unless you think that they're not going to be able to report any good numbers, okay. But even then, you've been doing it for so long. Keep providing those things because those things are really important to investors, especially with how fast things move in this space, right? So I disagree with that. I don't think it has anything to do with it, with the stock price there. The biggest thing for all these stocks has been dilution over the years here. And then the shorts, I still believe that's still highly the reason why. All right. Hi, Seb. Have you heard of any proposed legislation or executive orders that is benefit for America-based miners versus those outside the U.S.? I have not seen anything on that, no. All right. Let's see. Seb, when do you think, or do you think there will be some M&A in the miner field? Not anytime soon. I think maybe if we get into another bear market, we would possibly see some M&A, maybe. I mean, right now all we have is Bitfarms buying Stronghold out, right? Nobody else is making any moves. It's just, it's cheaper to build out for the most part than it is to buy somebody else out because you're paying a premium at that point. Let's see, yeah, Trump spoke today and mentioned Bitcoin specifically twice when he said America needs to be the world capital of crypto. This was the first time he was so specific. So yeah, I mean, there's still a lot of good things happening here for crypto and Bitcoin in general. All right, let's see. Don't know that one. Oh, Cade is here. Cade, how you doing, buddy? Thanks. Yeah, I was on Cade's stream today. We had what was it, like an hour or something like that? He asked me a bunch of questions about how I got into Bitcoin, all that stuff. Definitely check it out if you guys have a chance. I posted that on X. So that was definitely a fun hour there. So, Kate, thanks so much for coming in here, buddy. That was a lot of fun. Right, what else we have here? Let's see. Drago says Cleanspark terrible. A lot of these guys have not done well, not only Cleanspark. It's definitely been a challenge here. Let's see. We got a couple more things, couple more questions coming up here. Let's see here. Kate says, great podcast. Had an awesome time. Yeah, so did I. That was fun. Let's see. Yeah, happy for you to come in. That's awesome. Next one here. Do you expect pump in Bitfarms next week after the Stronghold vote, or is that mostly priced in? I think it's mostly priced in. The reason for that is mostly being priced in is because of the sheer dilution that's going to happen there. So I think that's why it's priced in right now. And Bitcoin's been flat for the last basically 2 months, more or less. It has gone up a little bit and came back down, but overall, if you look at it, it's been trading sideways here. So I think that's priced in. We would really need Bitcoin to kind of rally here a little bit, and we do need it. Eventually, I think it will. It just might not be until March that we get that rally. So we'll see. What else we got here? Anything else? I think that's it. I think we've caught up to all the questions here. So we shall see. Bitcoin's at 97,116 right now. That's kind of awesome. We need it to go up a little bit more, another 13,000, get to like 110,000. That would be great. But we'll see. Let's see here. Would Cleanspark dividend? No, not right now. I don't think any of these guys would do a dividend right now. It doesn't make any sense for these guys. They're still, I keep saying that they're still in really growth mode, right? They're not in a space where you can count on Bitcoin being the same value over a long period of time. You can't count on Bitcoin not going back down. So there's really absolutely no reason for them to do a dividend at this point. If we go into like an extended cycle with Bitcoin, at that point, okay, that kind of makes a little bit more sense. But we would need, I would say, at least 2 years of, maybe 2 or 3 years of Bitcoin going up in value, maybe not as fast or going in a parabolic rise, but still going up $50,000, $100,000 per year or something like that, whatever it might be. At that point, okay, at that point, maybe you can think about it because you don't have that bear market where it hurts like crazy to the bottom line at that point. So maybe then you could possibly do it. What else? Okay, can you talk more on Mars or Mara? I'm thinking you're asking about Mara there. Mars, Elon Musk would be probably a better person to talk about Mars. He's the one that wants to colonize it. Right, next one here. Did you notice the price target increases on TradingView for IREN? What did they bump that up to? Let's see here. Let's take a look at IREN here really quick. Financials price targets. Let's see if we can look it up. And trading view, let's see what we got here. Valuation, growth, profitability. Where the heck is it? Estimates. Revenues, earning dividends, no. Financial health, where would that be? Statistics maybe? I don't, where would that be? Revenue, 2024. I don't see, maybe I don't have that option there to take a look at it here. But we can look at it on this one over here, which is through Webull. IREN, what is their analysts here? Analysts, here we go. $26 from analysts for the high, average 22, and the low of 15. They're at 13. Yeah, I think they're still undervalued from where they really should be. Just like all the other guys here as well. What else we got? Okay, Fairfax says 120,000 by March 1st. Within the 9 days that we got left, I'd love to see. Is it 9 days? Yeah, 9 days. I'd love to see that. Let's see here. Thanks for the videos and charts. You're very welcome. Thanks for coming in, as always. Let's see here. If you want a dividend, you buy BitO. Okay. Is that an ETF, I'm guessing? Yeah. All right. So I think, let me see here. We've caught up to all your questions. We'll call it a day. We'll see what else happens tomorrow. And then another one popped in here from Manu. All right. Let me see if this one pops in really quick here on my screen. Come on, there it is. Okay. Do your channel views correlate with BTC price? Yes, they do. So when Bitcoin's going up nicely, we get more views. That happens all the time. Bitcoin is going down, we get less views. Unless the miners are going up or something like that, or something really interesting happening in the miner space, then they do go up. So there is definitely some of that correlation there. Let's see, Andre says, I'm seeing Bitcoin getting close to a breakout. I mean, I'm kind of seeing the same thing here, but I think it might still take until March for us to get there. But I would love to see a breakout sooner than later, that's for sure. All right, that's it. Let's call it a day. Let's see. Yep, that's it. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. Obviously, we'll cover anything else that I find interesting with statistics, the stats that I have in the miners and charts and things like that. We'll look at all that tomorrow as well. If there's anything else that we haven't already covered, we'll see what happens with the miners tomorrow with Bitcoin, any news that we might get or anything else. We still are waiting on some of the miners to report their quarterly results. I think we have some coming up here next week. I don't know if we have anybody else coming in this week for the results. So we'll get into it when they do cover it. We'll talk about it. We'll dissect it as always. And yeah, we'll leave it at that. So again, thank you so much for coming in as always. Greatly appreciate you guys. Love you all. Hope you guys have a great night. I'll see you guys tomorrow.